What is the key plank in your platform?
Kids are the top priority. Every policy that we institute or every policy that we support has to put kids first. And I'll take that a step further. Not just everybody says kids first. I hear people doing the stupidest stuff saying that they're putting kids first. My standard is two things. One, make sure that when you do something for a kid, that it's the same thing that you would have done for your own child. And I notice if you wouldn't do it for your kid, then maybe it's not a good thing.
With the looming deadline of October 15th by the Accreditation Committee, how do you assess the progress?
They're making progress, and I want to help make sure that they continue to make progress. So I've been speaking with board members, I've been speaking with staff and students. The things that need to be improving are improving.
Salaries and compensation account for 89% of the budget for BBC, and soon to go as high as 96%. I understand the goal is around 80%. How would you address this problem?
Well, you know, it's always a popular thing to target those folks that make a living, and I hear it all the time in my field that all of us make too much money too. Now, I don't believe that for a minute, and the community needs those kind of wages in the high desert. It's some of the best jobs that we have up here. We certainly don't want to discourage anybody from working at our schools. We want to have the best, and sometimes you have to pay to get the best. And I'll go on with that theme in some of your other questions, Joe.
I understand the unions endorsed you for your race. What was the process and how were you selected?
It should come as no surprise to some of our viewers that I just came off a congressional race, and we did real well, and I didn't ask for anybody's endorsement. My views supporting public school employees and workers in general are pretty clear, and there was a ballot statement mailed out to every registered voter in the 8th Congressional District that stated that. So if working people, organized or otherwise, said, I think he could do take care of our students and take care of our interests, you know, you'll have to ask them why they would pick me. But I am honored if indeed they want me to represent their interests. Hey, and by the way, I'm not the only candidate that was endorsed by the union.
One of the challenges pointed out in the accreditation report is the high turnover of senior leaders. How would you address this issue? What would you do?
Well, you know, that ties in with this complaint we have about how we pay folks up here. So our wages are in line with other areas. Now, if we intend to keep good people here, they need to be paid the way good people get paid. I grew up understanding that a man, if he was worth his salt, then he should get paid. And these folks that provide the most valuable service that we have, it's the most important profession out there. If they don't get paid properly, then we can't expect the professionalism that they deliver day in and day out.
Here's another question that was submitted. If the college loses its accreditation, how would it affect the monies that were already collected from citizens in 2008 with Proposition JJ, $297 million for eliminating the college debt, upgrading infrastructure, and purchasing land for construction for new facilities?
Well, I'm not that kind of counselor. I'm a high school counselor. I'm not a legal counselor. So I don't know exactly what would happen in that scenario. But I can tell you that if I'm sworn in as a college board trustee, I will hold to the promise that I've made to take care of that college and those students the best way I know how. I can't answer all those details, and I don't know that anybody out there that can.
John, do you think the college will lose its accreditation?
No, I do not. And I'm praying that they do not.
Your opinion, Mr. Pinkerton. Has the board contributed to the present issues at the college? And if so, how would you address this?
I'm not here to attack the board. I am the lone challenger, I guess, because nobody else considered it important enough to spend time and energy for. Although I have heard something else, that there were some people who were interested but felt intimidated into not running. But I don't scare easily.
Can you please describe the importance of creating a culture of respect, civility, and dialogue and trust at the college?
You know, 90% of what I do every day as a high school counselor at Silverado is helping people with relationships with teachers and students, teachers and teachers, teachers and parents, students and parents. We got to be civil in this. The board members must be civil with one another, and staff must be civil with one another. The president must be civil with the staff and the board, and I will be a civil board member. I won't call anybody out, but I have firm beliefs on what is right for students, and I'm going to hold strongly to those. Whether they're popular with my fellow board members or not, if I believe it's good for a student, I'm going to hold on to that.
Okay. Then how will you ensure that the college creates a long-term budget that does not rely on unrestricted reserves to cover its deficits?
Well, the first thing I'm not going to do is to ask for concessions with labor costs. That is not the first thing that I'm going to do. I do believe most every business out there can run more efficiently, and schools are a business. They're not your usual business of land or RVs or cars. It's a more important business. We educate children to take over running the most important, the most powerful country that has ever existed in the history of the planet. And if those kids are not prepared for that, then we failed in our mission. So it's not just any business, it's the most important of businesses. And teaching is the most important of all professions.
Here's another question that was submitted. How do you plan to resolve the $29,850,000 projected cumulative deficit for the next for the next 4 years without compromising BBC students and cutting more classes?
There has been steps already taken to bring that deficit spending down, and I will continue with that. Okay, solvency is the #1 thing financially. The institution has to survive. All of us have a vested interest in that. So those on the right and those on the left will find common ground in making sure that that institution survives. It's in our best interest to make sure that happens.
How will you help the sustainability and the leadership of the college?
Well, that's our college. I don't have any problem with folks coming from other areas to work up here. Some of my dearest friends and colleagues come from other areas to work with us in the high desert. But I think we should first look to see who we have in the high desert that can fill those positions. Okay? I'm a guy that I buy locally. When I bought my family sedan, it was at Sunland Ford. When I bought my pickup, it was Dodge Family Motors. When I got an RV, it was up here in the desert. My children were schooled up here. I work up here. I built my home in Pinion Hills. You know, let's take care of things here first. We don't always need to look outside. And that is something that I'm going to encourage. Because if people live in this area, they're going to want to stay here. So that's my top priorities, is let's look in the high desert for the positions that need to be filled in the high desert.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add?
The Declaration of Independence stated that the pursuit of happiness was important. The children that I serve each and every day, and I have a huge caseload at Silverado High School, I strive for them children to be happy in their pursuit of their education. And if these children are not happy and productive, we've done an injustice, we've done something absolutely un-American. And I promise you that every decision I make will be as if the children that I'm making the decision for are my children.